constantly thinking about approaching is the real problem. When I lived in central London, I worked for a dating coaching company, and the structure or model of this company was built around just one idea. Get guys to go out and approach more women. Do it for hours, and momentum will just fix everything. And on the surface, seemingly, it worked temporarily. I'd see these guys have these breakthrough days. They'd have 10, 15, 20 different conversations with women they just met. They'd get numbers, and some would actually get dates there and then, and some of the guys would actually see these women again. So on the surface, they were successful, right? And then the next day, I'd see them a little bit different. They'd walk differently, speak differently, like something had finally unlocked. But normally day 2 of the boot camp, when I saw them, something changed. It would be the same city, same streets, same women walking around, but now it was very common that they were stuck, standing still, pretending to check their phone. One guy in particular is burnt into my memory. The day before, he was a machine. He could just go and speak to whoever he wanted. He was speaking to women everywhere. But then the next day, he couldn't start a single conversation. And then it became obvious to me what was really happening. The problem was never fear of women. The problem was self-evaluation. The moment he had a good day, approaching stopped being something he did and turned into something that he had to maintain. Now suddenly there was a new standard, a new version of him, and he felt a lot of pressure to recreate that version of him. And that pressure changed everything. Instead of just seeing a woman that he just wanted to go and speak to like the previous day, now he was noticing everything about himself. He started asking himself, am I confident enough yet? Am I in the right state? And why can't I go back to how I felt yesterday? Yesterday was so easy. Why can't I feel like that now? What if I mess up today? That will prove that yesterday was a fluke. So then at that point, approaching somebody isn't about connection anymore. It's about his identity or his attachment to this identity. And then at that point, every hesitation will then feel like a failure. And then the more he misses these opportunities, the more he's thinking, and maybe there's something wrong with me. I can't get back to that state that I had yesterday. So then what eventually happens, he puts too much pressure on himself. He quits. He can't actually get the motivation to do it. And even though he's trying to solve this mentally and he's trying his hardest to get back to that state, he's going around in circles in his mind, trying to think of the right opener, the right moment, the right woman that looks like she isn't mean or unfriendly, the right internal feeling. But this chasing of this internal state is the very thing that's blocking him. Because all of this thinking and all of this internal pressure he's putting on himself is the problem. This is what's creating the distance between being able to just go up and speak to somebody. Distance from the moment, distance from the other person, distance from your own natural instinct just to go and speak to somebody. And once this happens, you are locked into this internal tug of war that you're trying to overcome. And at that point, you're not even scared of rejection. You're just stuck. I saw this over and over with guys that would come onto our program. I still see it now in all of the forums where guys are like, I put so much pressure on myself. I find it really difficult to stay consistent. Sometimes I don't have the motivation. Sometimes it's really hard. Sometimes it's easy. And what I notice is that guys aren't failing because they are lacking confidence. They're all failing because they believe that they have to be confident before they act. They believe that confidence was something that you had to arrive at before you act. And the more that guys chase that feeling, the further it goes away from you. And I'm sure you can relate. One good day creates this new standard, this new image of you. That image of you, that version of you creates pressure. And that pressure creates hesitation. And that hesitation comes from thinking now you've got it done. You're always going to be like that. That there's some version of you now that you're chasing, rather than being the version now and just letting go. So then what happens, you spend so much mental energy trying to be that version and watching yourself rather than just being in the moment and living. And that's the part that most dating advice misses. It fails to understand this. It doesn't realize that by attempting to fix hesitation by adding more techniques, more mindsets, more rules, more things to say, just gives the mind more things to monitor. And with more things to monitor, you've got more ways to get it wrong, more ways to mess up, too high a standard to achieve. So therefore, you get more hesitation. So then what happens? Guys just visualize approaching all day, trying to overcome themselves, fighting themselves, getting stuck in this internal tug of war, walking around Oxford Street, central London, whatever city you're in, hesitating, looking for the right person, and then beating yourself up for not being able to do it. All it is really is just a conversation. If you are overblowing it to be anything other than that, it's this too much weight and pressure in your mind. You're putting too much pressure on yourself. So all of these missed opportunities and these missed conversations creates more mental exhaustion and more walking around feeling like you need to fix yourself or you need to get to this special version of you. And then the worst part is you wonder why it felt so easy to get to that version of you, but now it feels impossible when nothing really went wrong. So then the first step is to realize that there is no special version of you that you're going to achieve. The special version of you is the version of you that you're dealing with. That's where you have to start. And you can be awkward. You can do it afraid. You can do it nervous. That's where you have to start. Be okay with making mistakes and all will be okay. Give yourself permission to go out there and actually speak to whoever you want, whenever you want. Lower the bar. Focus on just a few things that you can do easily. Take the pressure off and stop mentally torturing yourself.